Yes, okay, so straight into the bans here. And we've got the other team versus Rep Cartel Mark II in this match. Other team, team captained by Hoodie Mafia, and he's going to be picking for red. And blue team is going to be picked by Solomon from the Tuskers.
Yeah, so the other team's actually in contention to win or come first place, or at least second place in the Major League. Was Rep Cartel Mark II, Suleiman's team, is going to be relegated if they don't win this match.
Yeah, they definitely have to win this. And interestingly, Vigil has been banned by them. So other team have gone for APOC, pretty standard armor, a red side ban to make sure that that's not going to be a factor if they want to choose shield. And Red Cartel responding with Vigil. Vigil has been actually a really successful ship and not banned that often. I've noticed that Red Cartel have actually banned it, I think 3 times now, if I recall correctly. So they definitely understand the power of the Vigil.
Yeah, I believe it is the second most popular frigate after the Punisher. Hyperion banned out by the other team, taking away those core armor battleships.
Yeah, interesting. Red Cartel banning Aurora. That's a curious ban, I think, because Agora's been much more successful than the Executor so far. So you would have thought if they wanted to pick armor, they'd want to keep that open. So maybe they have already made the mind up to go shield, and they wanted to shut that down.
Yeah, they could go shield tier and potentially give the other team a bad support pick with the Merlin. Although I guess it's not awful if they do have to go into armor. Although I guess it would be a shame if they wasted their APOC and Hyperion ban. Looks like Red Cartel are going to go armor though. They are picking up the Punisher. I expect to see the Argus picked here shortly.
Yeah, the Punisher, very popular ship. Picked 18 times. It's got a 50% win rate, so it's pretty solid all over. Algos support in there for the Rep Cartel. We've discussed before. Its utility is fantastic in this tournament. Other team going for the Corax. They could be looking to field the All Caldari setup. They won with in their first. In the first show, should we say, for the major leagues, they went for an all Caldari setup, which looks like they've got Osprey available, so they could be going for that.
Yes, interesting to pick the Corax when the tower was available. Normally the tower is preferred because it's a lot faster and it gets the 75% MWD bloom sick reduction bonus. Osprey is picked up for the other team, so I think they probably will be looking to go Drake Roke for that setup. Rep Cartel probably been paying attention. I wouldn't be surprised here to see a Roke ban or a Raven ban as well. That could also be a decent battleship for them.
Yeah, Rep Cartel, they've banned out Raven, there we go. So we're probably going to see Roke from the other team going for a very tanky shield setup. Interesting what the other team are going to ban out here. I'm going to guess they're going to go for Armageddon because.
The Oracle is available. Wait,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they've gone for the Armageddon because they're going to probably have a cap hungry battleship, and the Osprey has to get in quite close, and it can't move fast because the afterburner. So they want to make sure that it can't get neutered hard. Other team have banned out Armageddon. Dominic's here potentially available for Rep Cartel, which could cause the cap issues that they're worried about. The other team are worried about. Rep Cartel picked up the Oracle, super successful battle cruiser. Even though it's actually only got a 40% win rate, that's probably because it's been banned most of the time. So setups the way it has managed to slip through have been created to kind of with it in mind, basically, to get rid of it. Oh, Cody going for the Tempest.
Yeah, Drake and Tempest. Tempest is still pretty good. Replacement for the Rogue, it's a lot faster. It gets the Smart Bomb and the Heavy Newt. I guess they want to try and put some pressure on the Oracle. The Rogue isn't really fast enough to deal with it. And Rep Cartel do pick up the Dominics that we mentioned, so they are looking for a bit of cap pressure to help out against that Osprey and the Tempest. Although a lot of that DPS is not really that cap dependent.
I think they're going to be really. I think Rep Cartel's setup here is going to be very dependent on the Oracle for its damage. The Dominix does have decent damage. It can load sentry drones, which can hit across a lot of the arena. But in these kind of matches where it's a small format, the drones can be primaried because there isn't so many of them on the field that they kind of just dominate. If teams in the Alliance won't bring an all drone setup, it's very hard to kill drones because there's just so many of them. Whereas if Rep Cartel have only got one damaged drone boat, then it's easy. It's kind of easy to primary the drones and remove the DPS. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think I like other teams' setup here more, but very strong setups. Let's see what the other commentators think. Let's pass it back to Botany.
Cheers, buddy. Let's throw it over to Rain first of all. What do you think of these setups? What are you looking forward to see in this match?
So this is the classic shield setup versus armor setup with the Osprey and the Executor, and I like both the Osprey and the Executor. I'm always favoring the shield side though, and I believe this time the Osprey is afterburner only, and obviously with the Drake it's more brawl fit with Ham with the heavy assault missiles. So I'm curious to see how the other team does against with a brawly shield setup, because we normally see more kitey shield setups. So I'm just very curious to see. I guess I'm just excited because we haven't seen a lot of these, especially the Oracle. The Oracle's usually banned a lot of the time, and then the match prior to this, we saw the Dominics, and I believe it was on the side that won. So I'm curious to see how it does again this time.
Fuzzy, I know your favorite tank in Eve is in fact Man Tank, the armor tank. Sorry, the hull tank even. What am I saying? The hull tank. And your favorite ship for that is the Vigilant. But in this shield versus
hull
armor,
tank is great, but a pure honor tank with nothing but cargo expander is maybe the ultimate.
that's a very good point. But in this battle of shield versus armor, who do you think has the advantage? Do you have a preference?
I'd say I kind of like armor a bit more in this format, but I know shield has worked out really well as well. This is a tough one. This is a really close match, I think.
Awesome. Let's throw it over to Madden. What are you looking for to this match, buddy?
I think I'm definitely looking forward to watching a Drake. Always good times when you have a Drake involved. I think other team just has a stronger core. I like it more. I've seen it do really well with the Drake and the Tempest. You get some nudes, you get some utilities, you get some nice speed. But I'm definitely curious to see how they use the drones from the Dami. I think that's going to decide this match, as well as the Algos. We've seen those ships perform both really well and then also, especially in the last match, not well. And if I see Valkyries on the field, I'm not going to be thinking they're going to do very well. But if I see a lot of rep drones and a lot of essentially really hard times of killing things, Rep Cartel definitely could bring this out. They've got good tackle and good capabilities here.
Okay, well, so actually, I want to ask Sutonia here. We very rarely see the Korax just at all, anywhere. Why is it so rare for us to see the Korax used on TQ?
On TQ or in this tournament?
Both.
Well, I think on TQ it's really slow, and the tower I think has a better bonus for just fleets in general. Just the 75% Sig Bloom for MWDs is such a really powerful bonus that a lot of people don't appreciate. And the Korax, actually, fun fact, is actually slower than a Mauler with a 1600 play, so which is kind of a meme. In this tournament, though, I'm not too sure why you'd pick the Korax over the tower. It does get a bit more tank. It does get that 50% bonus to missile explosion velocity, which helps kill frigates, I guess. Although it's not, you don't really need application on the light missiles normally. I don't know. Maybe they just want to go for the Korax just to have the all Kodari style. It does make them a bit stronger against ECM if they do end up running against the Blackbird, so that could also be a consideration.
Little update, we have just been joined by the wonderful CCP Larkin. He did turn up a bit late. He's not used to using a computer still, all the blood being rushed to his head from playing upside down. How are you doing this evening, buddy?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Apothony, and your amazing self.
Awesome. Okay, so we are coming up to the match, getting ready. I can see the pilots being teleported systems. So let's do a little rundown. There we go, of everyone in TeamSpeak. Who are your predictions of who is going to win this match? Let's start with Bay RJ.
This is going to be super close. I think the setups are pretty even, and I think it's going to come down to piloting mistakes. Because if everything goes perfectly, then it will be a draw. But so it's going to be the mistakes that make the differences. Both of these teams have got a lot of Tuskers in them, so I wouldn't expect many mistakes. Whoever kind of flinches first and burns a gun or overshoots a tackle or something like that, that's probably going to be the team that wins or loses.
Right?
So I always favor the shield team. So obviously the other team, and then they also have the Drake, and Drake's a favorite. But I also really like the Rep Cartel team because I have one of my longtime friends, a guy named Long Drink. So I'm kind of cheering for them too.
Fuzzy?
I think this is definitely gonna be a very close one. Need to go with someone though, so I'm gonna put my money on the other team.
Larrikin?
CCB Fuzzy is well known to get all of the picks right, pretty much, in all the Alliance Summons we've done, so my vote is also on the other team.
Elise?
Oh man, I don't know how this is gonna go. I did notice that the other team, they kind of shocked us the last time we saw them. They took the all Caldaria rush. They had instead of the Tempest, which they have now, they had a Rogue. And it kind of took everyone by storm, and I'm pretty sure they had a total domination victory with it. And even though they don't have the Rogue, which I'm kind of sad to see gone, it's replaced by a Tempest, which has a little bit more utility. So, I don't know, I think they lost a little bit of pep in their step, but I still think the other team has it. I think it's going to be a pretty good, pretty solid win right here. I don't know what this Dominix is going to do, even though Rep Cartel do have the very powerful Oracle. I don't think the Dominix pairing is going to be good enough.
Okay, Mr. Madden?
Well, I was probably going to go with the other team, but as Elise mentioned, the other team has not brought the Rogue, and since you can't stop the Rogue, you probably can stop the Tempest. So just to be a little bit different, I'm going to go with Rep Cartel. I think they're going to stop the Tempest.
Okay, and last, certainly not least, Sutoni, who's your pick for this match?
I think I'll go with Rep Cartel Mark 2. Both teams are really strong, but I really like the Oracle versus the Osprey because the Osprey already has an afterburner, so it will not be able to mitigate the damage from the Oracle or the Dominix if it puts out sentry drones. So I think the Osprey could be in a world of hurt here. So yeah, I think I'll go with Rep Cartel Mark 2 just to be a bit different too.
Okay, so we did have a tiny issue in the setting up of the teams. They've been teleported into the arena, but they're not necessarily 100% ready. So we're going to have a little delay here. I'm going to ask Mr. Bio, can we throw to ads, or do we just need to fill?
Oh, we can talk a little bit about what's going on quickly. So the one thing we noticed that I noticed between the Rep Cartel team and the other team is that the Rep Cartel, they've taken in Dominix, which we actually saw in a previous match as well. I'm fairly certain that we only ever see Dominixes in the major leagues. Like, there's a really stark contrast between the drafting styles in the major leagues and the minor leagues. In the major leagues, it's pretty cool that we see like battleship cores bound out early, and we saw that happen perfectly well here with the other team. They banned out with their first two bans, APOC and Hyperion. Rep Cartel doing something that we generally see minor league teams do in terms of the meta. They knock out a logistic ship and just a utility frigate. Sometimes we see them knock out two logistic ships, but Rep Cartel took out that Vigil and the Augur, which it's something that follows the meta of the minor league teams really, really strongly. And we noticed yesterday in the minor league finals, which was pretty cool, minor league teams started to kind of copy the meta of the previous week's major league. And we saw a lot of teams trying to emulate what the other team put out in that Caldaria rush with the Merlin Corax, Osprey, Drake, and Rogue, even though they took a Tempest here. So it's pretty cool to see how the meta evolves, not only week to week within championships, but between the championships as well. It just goes to show the caliber of these pilots and how they do and watch these matches and kind of borrow ideas. And this other team setup, it is definitely a pocket strategy that the other team probably has practiced several times, because they definitely know what they want when they go for this, and they know it's dangerous. I think they were kind of caught off guard a little bit by this Oracle pick, which is what swapped them from the Rogue, which is generally shorter ranged, to the Tempest, which can project the damage a little bit more. But yeah, I think we're going to see a really strong display from the other team. I think they got exactly what they wanted out of these drafts, and these captains, they're quite vicious when we see what they're doing. Like Hoodie Mafia, is an incredibly talented captain when it comes to this format. When we started this format, everyone was on the even footing, and you got to see a lot of these captains and drafters sort of do a lot of mock drafts and a lot of mock picks to try and get up to this a new caliber to sort of have an advantage, I guess, over every other team. So it's really cool to see how much this dedication has paid off and how much this work has paid off, because the other team is sitting pretty in that top spot.
Okay, thanks, Elise. I want to very quickly ask Bay, looking at the bans specifically for this match, why do you think we see these ships getting banned? So let's start with the battleship slot. Armageddon, Raven. What's scary about these battleships? I mean, obviously the battleships are going to be the most powerful pilot on your team in terms of tank, in terms of potential output of DPS and utility. What's so scary about the Armageddon and the Raven, and why might people choose to ban it?
For both of them, I think it's damage protection. The Raven has cruise missiles, which means it can basically hit as far as it can lock, which is roughly 100 kilometers, I think, off the top of my head. A little bit more. I think it's got signal amplifier in low slots, so it can hit basically anywhere in the arena, and it can apply damage. It struggles against afterburner support ships, but anything else it will apply damage really, really well. Things like the sniping battle cruisers and stuff, it can just hammer away really effectively. So it's a good all-round ship, good reason throughout the tournament. And Apocalypse as well. It's kind of like the armor version, I suppose. It's not got quite as much range, but with Scorch crystals loaded into its megapulse lasers, it can hit sort of pretty comfortably 60, 70, 80 kilometers. So it can basically, it has a long range around it. And I say most of these battles, the optimal range you want your DPS to be at is like kind of be able to deal damage between 20 and 60 kilometers. It's kind of where most of the fight happens, I think, for these matches, being T1 ships. That's kind of how they're balanced. So yeah, those are the reasons you'd want to get rid of those battleships. The Hyperion also banned out very commonly because it's very strong. It's got a very strong local repo. It's got micro jump drives for pouncing on kiting teams. It's got blasters for a lot of damage. It's got a huge drone bay as well for a battleship. So yeah, it's a fantastic all-round ship, and it's been very successful. So other team making sure that Rep Cartel can't bring that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the rundown. Rain, I know you're a big fan of logistics pilots, that you love watching them fly. We've got 4 logistics cruisers to on the T1 line, so that's the Exec, the Scythe, and the Org. The Org being banned in this match, the team's still going for the Osprey and the Exec. What are the key differences between the 4 different cruisers that we see in both in their fits and how they fly generally due to the hull bonuses in this tournament? And do you have a preference?
So I'm always a fan of the Scythe, and in this tournament the Scythe is buffer fit, and a little fast, and it's used faster, or gosh darn it, it has a micro warp drive, so it's obviously faster than the Osprey, which is the shield counterpart, which only has an afterburner, but it also has an ASB, which means it has a local tank, which gives it a little more survivability even though it's slower. As for the armor side, the one difference I noticed is the Augur, which is banned, is also dual prop, and it has a cap booster, but it also has small reps. So even though it's able to go fast or slow, it can kind of tailor itself to the team. It's slower, or it has small boost reppers, so it has to be close to its fleet in order to apply it. Otherwise, it will be in the fall off and it won't apply max reps. As for the Executor, I think that's probably the strongest armor Logi pick, but it's also banned frequently because of that, and also I think every time it's been picked as well. If it is available, but it doesn't have the dual rep. I think it's only micro warp drive, but it does have the medium rep, so it's able to use that range to its advantage.
Awesome, thank you so much. Now we do have a winner for the headset. Congratulations, Nuke_Cave. You have won yourself a brand new headset. The guys will be in touch with you to get your details, send that out to you. Congratulations. Now, Rain, I know you've been fielding some questions from Twitch chat. Do you want to run us through some of them and ask different members of staff questions?
Yeah, so I believe it's DJ Equalizers, and I'll even pitch this one to Elise, but someone asked, how do we know as the people who run the tournament, that people's ships are fit properly, and that somebody's not trying to sneak in like a 2-bill Osprey instead of the fit that we have picked for it.
Well, luckily we've got a sneaky tournament tool that we're allowed to use, and CCP Logibro set us up, and that's part of the reason why we have pre-fit ships, so kind of know exactly what everyone's going to have and what everyone should expect. We do let people take any type of drones they want. Well, we let people take any Tech 1 type drone they want and Tech 2 rep bots, which the tool also checks for. So everything is automated because of us being able to use this Thunderdome server. We don't have to wait for, we don't have to like just use a ship scanner on people and just look at kill mails at the end and disqualify people after the fact, like we might have had to do Singularity had we run this tournament there, and we've had to do them previously. Luckily, and every time we've run a tournament, we've had the tool used for us, but this is the first time we've been able to use the tool ourselves, a testament to this Thunderdome server. So really glad to be able to use this. It's useful in so many ways. As CCP Fozzie had mentioned earlier, it's also really useful for teams when they're practicing for the Alliance tournament, because you can just import a setup from EFT. So what happens is when these teams their ships, we have a list of fittings in EFT format, and what they do is they just copy the fit. They decide on a drone, first of all, decide who's going to fly what. They copy a fit, and they just hit the mass fit button, create the ship fit, and then they fit it. So it's like 3 clicks of the button to get their ship perfectly fit. So it kind of minimizes the amount of time that people need to get prepared. For those that have ever participated in a Alliance tournament, you know just how stressful it is between matches. Even if matches are within an hour of each other, you have to have done the previous day, have just set up every setup that you might want to take in your Alliance tournament match, just so you don't have to bother fitting ships and stuff at that moment. But because of the tool that we have in Thunderdome and the Mass Fit tool, we're able to get a pretty quick turnaround. And I say pretty quick, even though we have a bit of a slight delay here. But even then, a 20-minute turnaround for coming up with a doctrine off the top of your head, more or less, is impressive. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Crazy Horse 117, who was the initial winner of the Plantronics headset. But he, in the spirit of giving, he was like, you know what? I just got a headset. Why don't you re-roll it? So luckily we got the re-roll going. And Nuke Cave won it, so I'll be poking you in Twitch chat in just a couple seconds here to get your address. And again, shout out to Crazy Horse 117 for being the initial winner and having that holiday amazing spirit.
Okay, well, it looks like the teams are slowly arriving on Arena, so we'll get Rain to give us one more question to run through before we go to the match.
So the majority of the questions have actually been troll questions. So
I mean,
don't know.
a question's a question, Rain.
I'm so
Okay.
surprised. This is Eve. Like, what's going on?
Okay, so this one is a rather... No, I'm not going to ask that one. Alright, so I'll ask you this one, APOC. Would you rather fight 100 Elise Randolph-sized fiends or 1 fiend-sized Elise Randolph?
So, like, I don't think there is any fighting Elise. He's just too lovely and cuddly. I would like a fiend-sized... Oh, wait, fiends are actually massive. Oh, so
Exactly.
I think I'd take... Okay, so I'd take 100 Elise Randolph-size fiends. And what I'd do is I'd have them as my personal drone army. So you know how Amazon have introduced drones? I'd basically just have them performing tasks for me. Only if they ever went to America and the Americans, who tend to enjoy their guns, start shooting at them, the fiends can shoot back and protect my stuff. So I'd have like my own personal, like, little flying drone army, if you see what I mean.
I mean, I guess that works, yeah.
I mean, in terms of fighting them, I would win and then in them and then force them to do that for me, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's the match. It's been delayed long enough. Let's hand over to the casters. It's going to be Elise Randolph and yourself, Rain.
Crane, and I'm joined by CCP Larrikin instead of Elise Randolph, and we'll be commentating the match between the other team and Rep Cartel Mark II, and I'll be introducing the other team, which shows on your screen as Team A in red, with the Tempest, the Drake, the Osprey, the Korax, and the Merlin. Larrikin, would you like to introduce Rep Cartel Mark II?
Sure, I would love to. Rep Cartel Mark II has the Dominics, the Oracle. Wait, am I getting this back to front, Rain?
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Great, the Dominics, the Oracle, August, the Punisher, and the Executor. I'm not very good at pronouncing that, so I'm probably not doing fine, but I'm honestly just a little bit intimidated by having to take over from the wonderful Elise Randolph. The match does start in 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and we are off to the races.
So if we look at the warp-ins, I believe the other team actually warped in very staggered, whereas Rep Cartel warped in all at 50.
They did, yeah, the other team came in very staggered. Rep Cartel came in as a nice big blob, and the other team have put all of their damage on the Algos to start with, while we're seeing a little bit of split damage from Rep Cartel on both the Merlin and the Osprey. Osprey is tanking alright at the moment and keeping that Merlin up, and the Algos from Rep Cartel is tanking just fine.
Yeah, so this is where I had pointed out how the Osprey's a little slower, but it also has that self-tank, so he can kind of keep himself alive. However, once that ASB runs out, he's kind of has to risk it of either trying to reload in time or just kind of stay alive as long as possible without being able to rep himself. The Algos is actually now down. They first blood on the other team side.
That's quite a little bit of damage there, and they've immediately switched to Jaxley in the Punisher, who is just cruising through half armor there. Fair bit of damage on him, however, I can't pronounce that. The Executor, which is even harder to pronounce, is repping him as well. The Osprey must be getting pretty close to running out of ASB charges, however.
Yeah, he's staying alive a little bit, led a little armor, but he's not going to last very long. Hopefully the other team can take down something. I'm not sure why they're primarying the Punisher over something, say, like the Oracle.
Do you think it's literally just trying to get that tackle off the field as quickly as they can, so maybe the Osprey can try and sig tank some of this damage coming in?
I mean, it could be, because they do actually have this Oracle tackle. I can see the Merlin sitting on him, Lysis actually in the Merlin, sitting and just orbiting around this Oracle and keeping him in place. But the Osprey's not doing well at all, especially...
Yeah, I think he's got for the reload, or maybe, yeah, that was a bad move. That Osprey is down, so even though the other team got first blood, they are like well behind now. They just lost the logistics, while Rep Cartel Mark II are repping fine.
Yeah, and it now seems like the other team's actually primarying this Executor, or Subutai, I think is how you say his name, but they're losing their Korax in the process.
Yeah, is that Korax the main tackle on the Executor? Because if he is, there's a good chance that Executor will survive there. No, he's being tackled by the Tempest and a whole bunch of stuff now.
Yeah, he does have webs on him as well as a newt, so hopefully he's able to kind of keep those reps going. Especially, actually, I don't know, maybe not, because he's the only one taking damage and he has armor bots on him. They're not helping him.
But the other team is now 2 ships behind. They've taken down the Executor. We've got a 3-on-3 here, so it's getting very interesting. But I honestly don't know which one I favor here. What's your opinion, Rain?
So I think this Oracle does better at long range, so if they can catch the Oracle, then I think the Oracle's going to drop pretty quickly, especially because, like, this Drake is at least super brawly, and the Dominics too even, but we have a battleship, battlecruiser, and then a frigate fight, 3v3 going on.
And I mean, the Oracle's been caught, or he's not been caught, he's just deciding not to go away. He's definitely been webbed there, so he's definitely caught there. And you can see the other team is putting all of the damage straight onto Evil One in the Oracle there, and he's going down very fast there.
Yeah, it's kind of a race because well, never mind, the Oracle just died. But as I say, Rep Cartel Mark II is actually primarying Hoodie Mafia and the Tempest. He is just now in armor.
Now, I think the Tempest is mainly shield tanked, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, he also has, it looks actually equal. He has the same amount of armor, shield, and hull. But he also has smart bombing. It looks like these curators that were dropped by the Dominics. So using those smart bombs, his utility high to his advantage to try and get the drones off the field.
And that's a good move. That is definitely a good move. It looks like the other team has switched all of their damage to Suramon in the Dominix. He is just about to enter armor now, but I am guessing he's primarily armor tanked, and you can, like, their DPS is just not very high at this stage. It's just taking them quite a long time to get away. I expected this to sort of turn tables a little bit, because I know how much damage that Oracle has. The DPS left on the other team just isn't that much.
Yeah, I'm curious because I think it looks like this this Punisher is actually like keeping the Tempest and everyone else kind of pinned while this Dominix burns away. And I'm not quite sure what's going on because the attack bars are actually, they show that there's potentially a lot of damage to be applied, but then nobody is really taking any damage except this Tempest.
Meanwhile, Hoodie Mafia has managed to boost his way up a little bit. He's sitting at about a 19% shields exactly for those. There we go. And the Punisher just went down. So it's Suramon versus the world right now. And I don't know. I don't want to say never. Never say never. No, not believing.
I mean, he could potentially take out this Tempest because the Drake is short range because of the hams. He does use drones, so I don't think this Merlin can get under his guns. He's smart bombing these acolytes that are sitting on him. He had just dropped, we're getting notification that you can see on the grid maybe that these curators are actually just dropped as well.
Right, yeah, and he would definitely have a active tank as well, right? I'm not 100% familiar with the fits on the Dominix, but I assume he can take some damage, similar to Hoodie Mafia and the Tempest there, so... Maybe he can just bring this back. Maybe Suramon can just win.
Well, I was gonna say, Hoodie Mafia is still taking damage. I'm not sure from what I'm assuming it's these curators, but I don't see effects on the grid. He is almost dead.
He's just trying to get as much damage out as he can before he leaves this world.
He's almost dead. This Drake is burning for this Dominix. He's just slow boating towards him.
Tackle Drake, best Drake. Hoodie Mafia sitting in 9% structure. 9% structure. It's also, I've had it confirmed that Suramon has a large ancillary armor rep, so he can tank a whole bunch as well if he hasn't been already.
Yeah, and he's attempting to kind of stop this Drake that's chasing him. The Drake I can still see shooting his missiles. I believe this Merlin's actually shooting drones. I'm not quite sure, but I'm seeing drones die as well.
I mean, this is I can just see this right now. I'm calling this right now. The Drake and the Merlin are going to concentrate on drones, but they're not going to have the damage to kill the Dominix, and then we're just going to have a standoff where both sides look at each other until the time runs out.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure who wins, because the Dominix is worth 5 points, the Drake is worth 4, and the Merlin's worth 1. So technically, they both have 5 points remaining on the field. So if the Dominix can get rid of the Merlin, then the Dominix wins, and Rep Cartel would win the match.
Do we go to reverse tie-dye? Do we do that?
I don't think so. I don't think we do.
Well,
We do.
they get a point each for a draw.
Okay.
A point each for a draw. So it wouldn't be the most ideal, but it's better than 0, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole point better than 0, in fact.
But these curators are actually dying to this Merlin. They're just kind of, I mean, obviously they're sentries, so they just like sit there. But they're slowly dying to the Merlin. The Drake, I still believe, is attempting to apply damage to this Dominix, but he's not doing well at all.
Yeah, I kind of actually have to wonder at the tactics of the Drake right now. Like, all of that damage is coming from his curators, but he's still burning away straight at the Dominix. And those curators are applying quite a bunch of damage to the Drake right now. I would have assumed he would have tried to stay in close on these curators, try and mitigate as much damage as he could, perhaps help take them out, because there's no way he's going to kill this Dominix by himself, as much as he burns, and he's going to be in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, and he actually is fully like shield buffer, so he's taking a lot of armor damage just because he doesn't have any armor or hull buffer. So there's 3 curators at least left on the field that this Merlin's trying to kill, and he's not doing too well at it. So if this Drake dies, it's going to be a Merlin against a Dominix, and then Rep Cartel's going to take the win.
Yeah, that's a definite win for Rep Cartel, I think. I think this Drake's about to die. Those 3 curators, probably 2 by the time he dies, but it just won't matter. He's gone. Besides, it's like he's burning towards other drones, maybe? No, he's not. I was going to say he's going to burn towards other drones and just scoop those up. Like, he just doesn't even care if all these drones are killed, but no, he doesn't need to.
that the Drake dies to those drones. Everyone kind of doubted the Dominix, and like no one really wanted to trust that drones would win. But the Dominix is doing it. He's soloing the entire other team.
Hats off to Suleiman, man. You just did not stop believing. You have just brought this home. So I'm curious what the Merlin is going to do now. Is he just going to charge in for victory or what?
Sure, we have 30 seconds left, and he's still killing the curators, but the Dominix... Oh, he's now deployed light drones, I believe. And he's burning...
ogres?
Oh, no, heavy drones. Heavy drones, and he's now burning at the Merlin. They're all the same icon on the screen, so I have to hover.
That's right. I think Lice has decided that life's just not worth living. He's going to take the quick way out here and probably put Rain and myself out of our misery trying to...
Commentate on drone PvP instead of, like, player PvP.
Yeah, exactly. But look, that was an awesome match. I'm super impressed with Suleiman bringing that back. I thought that was the match over pretty much, but no, he kept his cool, put the damage down where it was needed, and just tanked like a boss.
And with that, we'll send it back to Elise Apothemy in the studio.